Hello, and welcome to Dark Night Healing. My name is Julie, and I wanted to talk with you today about life changes and stuff that comes up, and just have, a nice discussion today. Change it up a bit. So I'm coming to a point in my life now where all of my children have graduated from high school. And most of them have moved out. I've also recently come in contact with an old family member from when I was younger, and things have been really changing. I've been closing out major cycle, probably a 10-year cycle. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know some of the things that have happened during those 10 years. A lot of abuse from my family, my personal family, like my mom and other people on my maternal side. I've come to many realizations, even just since the beginning of the year in January, since I started tarot readings and started working with the human design, which have made this transition much easier. I know a lot of people, especially when all their kids grow up and move out, they have a real problem with empty nest syndrome. And, that's something that I never, and I don't think that I will have. I'm not built like everybody else, as we know, being that I'm a projector, mental projector. So for me, it doesn't bother me that my kids are growing up and moving out. That's how things are supposed to go. I did my best to get them safely to the age of adulthood and with as much love as I could give them, and with the least amount of trauma you could give a kid, I guess, in this world. Being that I'm a Gen Xer, I'm also a first generation gentle parent. So as we know, that can be a challenge all on its own. Just breaking the cycles alone are hard. Let alone trying to change the behavior, just trying to stop the behavior is hard enough without having to rewire and rechange it. I honestly believe it takes several generations to fully heal a trauma that is a generational trauma. One person has to break the cycle, the next person has to change the wiring, and then the future generations from there get the new patterns. And I think if you think about it, it seems a very logical thing, right? Because a lot like adaptation. Anyway, so with my youngest graduating and my family member coming back in, actually 2 family members, one of my children have decided to return to the fold as well. And it's very exciting and such a great experience. When they go off and they're doing their own thing and you worry about them and you don't hear from them and you're wondering how they're doing, and when they finally do come back, and it's just a good time and a lot of love. You've both done the healing work. it makes you feel good on the inside that you did something right. You know, it was really hard for me because when you're abused by your own family as an adult, and I'm sure a lot of you feel this, that when you're abused so much and it's like into adulthood, like I was 36 years old with 4 kids before somebody took me seriously when I said that I'm getting horribly abused by family members. The gaslit, narcissism heavy, like I felt like I was going insane. The only reason I even got someone to listen to me is because the narcissist fucked up. The narcissist couldn't get the police to arrest us for doing nothing or have the kids taken away for nothing. So they tried to call social services to have them take the kids away. And then when we were taken away from them, they got very angry because we weren't the problem, they were. And when you are so abused that you are being abused and your children are being abused by your abuser, and it's such a toxic cycle, you can't get out. All you can do is pray that someone will finally listen. And someone finally did listen to me and told me I wasn't crazy, because I really thought I was. I thought I was insane. I thought that they literally made me think that I was the crazy one for thinking that they were doing me wrong. They were only trying to help. So, getting to this point, 10 years later, where I'm free from that, and I've done a lot of healing, and my kids are now grown and doing the healing, I'm ever thankful that I didn't give up. And I'm ever thankful that the narcissist made the mistake they did. Because if they had to listen to my advice, I would still be there. But because they did the exact opposite of what I said not to, because narcissist, don't tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. If it hadn't have been for that particular personality flaw, I would still be, and my children would still be abused. There are generations of families out there being abused in a giant cycle, and they can't get out. And just breaking that chain is hard enough. And I managed to do it. But I didn't have to do it just for me. I had to do it for my kids. My kids were the most important thing to me, and I did everything I could and everything the police, CPS, and the government told me to do to keep my kids. I fought everyone. And I hid myself and them away to protect us. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But there's a lot of people out there that are still stuck in that cycle. So if you are somebody who can't understand what's going on around them, and you feel like you're an adult that's being abused by your family, send me an email, send me a message. Let's see if we can help you. If you need somebody to believe you, and you need somebody to look at you seriously and take it seriously, I'll do that. But don't lie to me now. I'm an empath. I'm a projector. You can't lie to me. I'll know. But I will also know the people who are genuinely looking for somebody to believe them and want to heal and move forward. You deserve to have the life you want. You deserve to have the life that you dream of. And you deserve to have one without fear of what anyone else around you may or may not say and or do to and against you. These changes that I am going through as a projector and as an empath, growing up, as you know in my other videos, I said that I didn't want to have kids and I didn't want to get married, but that's not the hand I was dealt. I could have chose a different direction. Everyone has a chose. I could have. But I chose to take responsibility and do the best that I could. It was worth every minute. 100% every minute of it. Was it difficult? Oh, heck yes. It was difficult. I have a special needs husband and special needs children, and I suspect that I have some sort of ADHD, perhaps on the spectrum as well, for my quirks that I have. But the doctor just looked me in the face and said I could tell without just looking at you that you don't have any of those things. But I have a lot of things that would definitely make you wonder. And I'm quite anal and very OCD on a lot of things. I like my house the way I like it. I like to have things a certain way. I don't like change very much, even though I know it's important. I really hate it. But I try every single day to be the better person every day than I was yesterday. I'm not in competition with anyone else but myself. And that's the only person you should be in competition with. Because you can't live somebody else's life. You can't have somebody else's life. It's never going to be exactly the same. Even twins, identical twins, do not have 100% identical accuracy. You know, we all live different lives. We all have different perspectives, different views, different wiring. Do twins have a special connection? Yes. Yes, they do. But they're still not 100% exactly the same. We don't know why we're here. Some say we have soul contracts. Who knows? Some say that we choose to use the soul contract to come here and learn. That could be true too. I don't know. I do believe using an intuition and feeling for yourself and doing the research for yourself, though. But as a projector and an empath, these times that are coming for me with having only grown adult children after 30 years plus of raising babies and children and diapers, this is a whole new thing. Because now I'm a grown adult, but I'm only responsible for myself again. I can do what I want again. And I don't have to take that job because I have to feed my kids. And I don't have to get up every day at 7 o'clock in the morning because I got to get the kids off to school. Everything is changing now, and so is my relationships with my children. And I'm really excited for this phase because as much as I love being a mom, being a projector made having children very difficult. And being a projector actually hurt my kids without me even trying. And I think that's one of the worst things that I could think of, is that it was just my programming. They weren't seeing me, they were seeing their energy being reflected back at them. And because they had such bad opinions of themselves and dislike for themselves, no matter how much I was telling them that I loved them and that they were wonderful, it wasn't believed because they weren't feeling my energy. They were feeling their reflection. But it's different now because I know how now not to put so much of my energy out there. And I know when to step back instead of pressing forward, because I know, and I'm working and practicing and learning how to work with my energy more and how I can either send out more energy to make it a better environment or relax my energy to make it a better environment. And once you can learn to do that, things get a lot easier. I'm a very logical person by nature. But being a projector and a Virgo, I can have a lot of energy that I take on, and I can become a very explosive person. An angry, violent, explosive person. But I don't like being that way. It's not my natural state. It's just that I can be overstimulated. I can take on other people's emotions and energy and not recognize my own anymore. And that can be a problem. But I've learned not to do that. It takes a lot now for that to happen. I usually leave the room, house, situation, hang up the phone, whatever it is, because I don't even really have to get involved. I can just be in the room and it just blows up. And I can feel myself taking on the anger, and that's when I just leave, because those are not my emotions. If I'm mad, you really don't want my emotions in it. You want me thinking logically, because if I'm really mad, you will see Mount freaking Vesuvius. Boom. Because I can literally set off the whole building. The whole building. if I'm mad. The whole building will feel it. They don't like it. I have scared some people because my energy can be that strong. One girl hardly even talks to me anymore. And I didn't even mean to do it. Somebody that I disliked and wanted no contact with came near me. And in a moment of just absolute disgust and frustration, I just, no. And the energy went out so fast and so hard. She just, what the, and we were in a bar full of people. And she was like, what was that? I was like, I'm sorry. So, for us empath projectors, anyone who works with energy and light, we have to be careful. But I think this transition will be one of the best and one of the ones that I enjoy the most. I love people, and I do love kids, but I've always found them quite exhausting and draining. And especially once my kids started growing up and leaving, and then with each one leaving, I had no more energy. Like, I didn't know that I had a finite amount of energy because I had 6 energy people around me just feeding me 24/7. I was like an overclocked computer. And now those energy systems are gone and I'm exhausted. But I have, over the last 6 months, fixed my sleep schedule to my normal schedule. And yes, everybody has a normal sleep schedule. You will sleep pretty much 8 hours a day if you follow a good sleep schedule. My husband does a 6 and 2. He sleeps for 6 hours. He has a 2-hour nap during the day. Me, I will sleep for 8 hours, but my 8 hours is between 3 a.m. and 11 a.m. Other people's will be different. But the way society is run, it has us running 7 to 5 or whatever it is for your work schedule, right? Most people don't even know what their normal schedule is, their natural sleep schedule is. My dad used to run 4 hours at night, and he might have a nap for 2 hours or 2 naps during the day, depending on how tired he was. Again, each person is different. Teenagers obviously sleep a lot longer. If I'm not on my natural schedule, though, I'm 45 and I can still sleep for 14 hours if I don't follow my schedule. If I'm off my schedule, I'll sleep for so long. And I love sleeping. I hate waking up. My husband says he hates waking me up because I also like it's being ripped out of a bad dream or something. But all these things and changes that occur, it's easier if you just learn. Even if you don't like them, you don't have to like them, but at some point you have to accept them because that's just life. Change comes, change goes. People come, people go. I've gotten really good, especially after the last 4 years, of not being disappointed so much in people anymore or being upset when they leave. I wish them all well now. It used to really affect me. Not having friends used to really affect me. Now it's kind of okay. I'm okay with it. Like, I have very few friends, like actual friends, that come to my house or I go to theirs, that we actually spend time together. And I used to be not okay with that. And I used to be really not okay with not being able to get along with other girls. still very difficult for me because I'm not like everybody else. And they don't like when I'm honest, and they don't like when I tell them that what they're doing is wrong. They don't like that I won't back them 100% if I feel like what they're doing is wrong. No, sorry, I'm not that person. I want to be told when I'm doing something wrong or I'm hurting somebody. Even if I don't believe that what I said or did should hurt somebody, it is not my place to say whether it does or not. If somebody says I did something that hurt them, it hurt them. Apologize. It's not that hard. Even if it seems ridiculous to you, it's not ridiculous to them. Now, making somebody apologize over and over for the same thing, that's a different story. You know, sorries also require 3 steps. 1, the apology. 2, adjustment. 3, making the change. You have to do what you can to show that you're sorry. You can't just say the words and expect that if you keep screwing up, they're just going to keep forgiving you. That doesn't work that way. Ever. Like, sure, maybe you can sucker them in for a little while, but I don't think it'll work forever. Not for me, anyway. But I'm definitely looking forward to this next phase of life. And I don't regret the previous 30 years. Was it a lot? Yes. Was it very tough at times and stressful and manic? Yes. But I have grown and learned so much about myself, about my kids, about my husband and my family, about this world and how energy works. And I wouldn't change any of it. Each of these experiences have made me who I am. Each of the people in my lives and my life has guided me and shown me things. And just, everything has been valuable. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's all been valuable. And sure, some people might say, well, how can you say that? Like, everyone you ever loved hurt you. You weren't hurt by strangers. No, I wasn't. I wasn't hurt by strangers. But perhaps for this life, what I needed to learn was that family and blood can hurt you the worst. Maybe in another life, I was only abused by strangers. And that was my lesson then. But maybe my lesson now is that, these people can be just as bad as strangers. Worse even, because they tell you they love you. Repeatedly beg for forgiveness. And then tell you they love you. Maybe I needed to go through that in order to learn how to love myself more. We never know. We never know these things. But I do use a lot of my gut instincts. And I do a lot of research, and I encourage everyone to do that. Spend the time. Like, If you have time to sit there and watch cat videos, you have time to watch a documentary and learn some history. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I spent a lot of time in my room as a kid, you know? We didn't have TV in the 80s and 90s in our rooms. You're lucky if you had a TV in the freaking house with cable. 90s was a little better, but still didn't have a fucking TV in my room. I had music. I played music. I played an instrument. I did research. Did I have some friends? Yes, I had some friends. Two that I'm still close friends with today. You know? But I didn't leave my house very often. Like most people came to mind. Even now, I have one or two people's houses that I go to, and one or two people come to my house. I don't have that longing for friendship that I used to have anymore. The disappointment and the hurt, jealousy, anger, whatever it was that they had in them against me, I'm just done. You know? I feel that very few people will be in my life for a long period of time. And those that will choose to do so of their own accord. I don't chase people. I never have. If I like you, I will invest time and energy into you. The moment I feel that time and energy is wasted, not appreciated, or used, I will literally stop texting and calling first. And eventually not even talk to you at all. I don't have time for that. I can literally entertain myself. And I do. I watch documentaries. I learn stuff. You know? I used to watch politics, but I stopped doing that because all the media outlets are owned by the governments. So we're not getting the truth. So now I learn about history. I learn about what happened before so I can circumvent what's happening now. And history, all the books have been burned, rewritten by the winner. Not getting the truth anyway. But I love archaeology. That's where you can find the truth of the matter. Can't lie about what they're digging up. Well, they can, but they can't keep the truth forever. Anyway, so when changes come into your life, like what I have, growing kids up, and, you know, I suspect in a few years, maybe grandchildren, or maybe not. But I'm not looking at it as a devastating time. I'm looking at it as a time for growth. I'm looking at it as a time to get to know my children as people, not as their mother. I'm still their mother. I'm still going to help them with their problems, but I don't have to be responsible for their well-being and keeping them alive, which, as you know, in the last 20 years, keeping a child alive, not pregnant, and with their body parts fully intact has been an extremely difficult thing to do. So I'm going to take that as a win and look forward to this next chapter. I do still have one fear, though, and that is that now that they are all grown, My abusers will try and come back because they're narcissists like that, so they'll try. And so I'm working through that fear. And I'm going to be ready for when it happens. But for the rest of you out there who may be going through this cycle and may be an adult that's being abused by your family member or members, reach out. Let us or let someone know. Ask for help. Sometimes all you need to do is find a different perspective, but also sometimes you need somebody to just believe you, to listen and be like, oh wow, that is pretty bad. For some of us, we tell people stories, even small bits, and they pity us so hard because, wow, we've been through so much in such a short amount of time. They couldn't possibly imagine it in their entire life, having survived all that. And yet, that was only this much. Some of us were here meant to go through some really hard stuff over long periods of time for our growth, I'm told. So just hang on, because it can happen and you can get out of that situation and someone will help. Someone will believe you. Don't give up. We're here to help. I'm here to help. So if that's what you need, send me a message. Let's see what we can do. Other than that, thanks for listening. Have a great day. You can message me at darknighthealing@gmail.com, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And yeah, that's it. Dark Night Healing. All right. Have a great day.